3, 2, 1.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to SEN After Live. I am J Wade.
And I'm Kalyn.
And holy shit, fuck Batman, if we got one today. That's right, guys. We are now on episode number 4 of this SEN Live After Show. And joining us once again, our producer and the founder and creator and the owner of Merc with the Movie Blog, the guy who puts all this stuff out for you guys and lets us have fun here, Josh the Merc Raynor. Welcome back, buddy. What's up?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime, dude. Anytime at all. It's such a pleasure. This is gonna be a nice tight episode. It was a short week this week on SEN Live with the holiday coming up here tomorrow, which would be Thanksgiving, obviously. Canada, I can't remember when they celebrate Thanksgiving. So you Canadian folks, sorry, you're just screwed with no holiday, but you don't get any good shows from SEN Live the rest of the week. But we will go ahead and plug real quick that Christian does have the Mandalorian review. So if this happens to drop before then, check that out Friday. So we're going to get into some stuff here, but before we do, we just want to bring up, we found out today on SEN Live that someone in the fandom here, Emma McAllister, a.k.a. Dollface, from the Movie Trivia Fan Leagues, she passed away Monday. It was really sad to hear. I've never seen any of her matches, but I am absolutely familiar with who she is. And this was a hard hit for the entire fandom, for Christian and for the action industries as well. It was sad to hear, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. And I'm sure we're all thinking about her family right now and just, very, very saddened by this. We lost one of our own.
Yeah, and for those of you out there who kind of want to do a little bit something extra, the action industries, they're actually going to be doing a live stream this Sunday at 7 p.m. All the profits will be donated to Emma's family, so definitely go and check that out over at the action industries.
Yeah, for sure. Prayers and sympathy going out to her family, for sure. And we will dedicate this episode of SEN After Live to you, Emma. Well, guys, let's get into some Schmoedown talk here. Speaking of the fan leagues and Schmoedown, which is a huge part of the SEN network, and we've got the round 2 of the tournament. The team tournament started last Friday. That was Crimson Fury and Who's the Boss?
Yep.
I was thinking when that match started, I was like, man, how great would it be if they came out to the Who's the Boss theme song?
I would love that.
Yeah.
Because it's like the Odd Couple. They come out to the Odd Couple theme. I would absolutely love it if they did that.
Yeah. And I was also thinking, I was like, okay, Who's the Boss? Obviously, Ben the Boss Bateman. But how does that figure in for Riley? And how did that conversation go with Riley when it came to naming that team? I mean, Riley comes off like he's really laid back, and I'm sure he probably didn't have an issue with it. But Who's the Boss? So does that mean that that Yodi is whose?
See, that's a question. Like, if I hadn't thought about that. If I had thought about that, I would have totally asked that during the Schmoedown backstage that they did, because Ben was on that, and I would have totally asked that question.
Yeah. I was sitting there like, man, because all the other teams, seems to be a good combination of the two. Like Time Machine. Perfect. Wild Berries, perfect.
Yep.
But that was a hell of a match. That was a hell of a way to kick off the tournament. What'd you take away from that match, Josh?
The thing I took away from this match is that you don't want to sleep on Stacey Howard. No matter what, the fact that she's kind of a 50-50 player, she can pull out some crazy stuff. What?
I said she's kind of bony.
Oh my gosh.
See, for all you out there listening, it's always Kalyn starting it. Just
No,
saying.
that was just like, I was just imagining, like, she wouldn't make a good bed.
Yep, there it is.
See, guys, Christian, this is my point that I tried to make, okay?
That was not sexual or perverted. That was just...
No, it's not, but it's enough to show what's really going on around here. Oh, man. I'm going to have to talk to Pookie, have him put a muzzle on you.
Excuse you!
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Don't make me too you.
I meant to say leash, but muzzle came out, and so it sounded a little worse with the muzzle. My bad.
That's not any better. I am my own independent woman. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's cool, but with a muzzle, you wouldn't be able to talk, and I would never do that to anyone. But if it were a leash, then you could still talk, but he could just jerk on it a couple times.
Let's see. How do I mute you?
We're only like a few minutes into this. It's going off.
I know. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
You're the one doing this.
I did.
Back to the Schmoedown.
Yes. Thank you very much, Josh. At least you and I know what's going on here in reality. But
yeah, this match. I mean, it was real good. That first round, they were so close during that first round. And Crimson Fury, they were in the lead coming out. They're up 2 points at the end of this round. So it's like. After that first match that they had where they were freaking busted my bracket, that's the only match in round one that I got wrong. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna underestimate them. And when you come out of round one, they're 2 points ahead. It's like maybe they could take this. And then you see Who's the Boss just destroy their round two, getting every single question right without multiple choice. And then the Crimson Fury goes up, and everything that happens there just kind of went off the rails for them when Stacy breaks the wheel.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I forgot that Stacy broke the wheel. We finally figured out who broke the wheel.
So are we going to call her Danny now?
What?
Game of Thrones, Daenerys, she was always going on about breaking the wheel.
Do you not watch Game of Thrones?
I don't know.
Okay.
What?
I guess you don't watch Game of Thrones. All right. So anyway, back into
that was a great dude. That was a really good throwback reference to Game of Thrones. What? Did she say she muted me?
I think so.
That's all right. Yeah, that was a really good match though, and it was a good way to kick off the tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, round one had a couple of really great matches in it, but round two's definitely shaping up well. Especially that the family in Paddington 2. Holy shit, dude!
Oh yeah,
wow. I mean, Kalyn was blowing me up when that was on. She was watching it, going, "Is anybody watching this?" And I'm like, "Is it on YouTube yet? Because as soon as it is, I will be."
Yeah.
What'd you think of it, Kalyn?
Yeah, it was pretty darn interesting there at the end. But what's even more interesting is the fact that somebody freaking spoiled it on Facebook before I ever even got to watch it. So I already knew what was going to happen. So that was annoying as poop.
And that's like when David B. spoiled the Kalinowski match for me a few months ago.
Yeah.
Grr.
Well, and look, the poor person who actually made the post, she didn't spoil anything. And then other people started commenting on it and were spoiling the crap out of it. So I made a comment that said, "This spoiled it for me." And she was like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, you didn't do it. These other stupid people did it."
Man.
Also, J Wade, I had you muted for a little while there, so I didn't hear anything you said for a good 2 minutes.
Wait a minute, you seriously did figure out how to mute me?
I did. I muted you. And
Are you fucking for real?
What would happen was I'd hear a pause, and then I'd hear Josh respond to nothing. And so I heard him laugh, and then I heard him say, "I guess you don't watch Game of Thrones." And I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, well, yeah. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Of course. I still watch Game of Thrones.
You missed a great fucking reference that I used then. You missed it, Kalyn. It was good, wasn't it, Josh?
It was great.
I had to punish you.
Think you just
All right.
I was hoping it would mute him like completely. It only muted him for me though.
Yeah, no, it did not mute him
She's
for me.
trying to mute me for everybody. That's great.
I was trying to mute you out the show.
Oh,
All right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, the family in Paddington 2. I was loving that match so much, and I've never been familiar with the. I've seen a couple Paddington 2 matches, but I've never been familiar with who those folks are that are on that team. But yeah, at the end there, how that ended, and they challenged it on their own win. They challenged their own win, dude.
Yeah, that's something that's never been.
I mean, yeah, like Guy said, dude, that is great sportsmanship.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
I gotta say, I don't think I would have done that, but bravo to Matt Atchity for doing that.
For sure.
That was wild. Thing is,
Now,
though, I mean, if obviously, if you guys listen to the SEN Live, Christian talks about this and how it technically he shot himself in the foot because the challenge technically was not correct, I guess you could say. It shouldn't have been upheld because the Lee Marvin wasn't technically one of the Dirty Dozen, and the question specifically says of the from the Dirty Dozen, like of that group in the movie.
Yep.
So like he didn't need to do that. Like the win was legitimate, and unfortunately, he was trying to do the right thing, but it wound up biting him in the foot.
Yeah, and Christian was talking a little bit today about the confusion behind it, but then I was thinking, if you know the movie, I'm not familiar with the movie, but if you know the movie, and it's Dirty Dozen, so I would assume that there are 12 guys in the Dirty Dozen, right?
I would assume.
Okay, so if you are familiar with that, all you need to do is say counting. What was the guy's name? I can't remember.
Which one? The one that
was the only one left.
Well, the family answered Lee Marvin.
Okay, Lee Marvin.
I don't remember what the actual answer supposedly was, but
right. Well, if you're familiar with all that, then all you have to do is say counting Lee Marvin, were there 12? And if there were 13, then he obviously was not a part of the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
So in my mind, that's how I would have sorted it out, because then again, obviously, if there were 12 of them counting him, then he would be a part of the Dirty Dozen. Yeah. But I mean, in the moment, I can only imagine how you feel in the moment. I mean, I've done one fan league match. Kalyn just had her first fan league match, and so yeah, guys, go check that on Multiplex. It's up now. Kalyn Rose.
We'll
her premiere match in Warzone. So, but yeah, so Kalyn, you know what I mean. When you're sitting there, you're not really thinking about that kind of in-depth of things necessarily. Some people, I'm sure, can, but for the most part, I would think your mind isn't really going to that kind of thinking.
Yeah, I think that you're actually like, you may not dig down at the right question that would definitively decide if it's right or wrong. So they obviously didn't dig down to the correct question, like you're saying. And they only have so much time to figure this out. They've got a whole schedule of things to do. The fact that Matt Atchity challenged it tells me that the Paddington 2 didn't think it was necessarily a fair question either. So you kind of have both teams obviously in agreement that it's not a super fair question. So, I mean, it sucks either way,
Yeah.
It really, really does. And I think we've all done that thing where we were super honest to our own, to a fault, like Kate was saying, and it bites you in the ass. So, I mean, I do wish the Paddington 2 had won, only because I wanted Guy to be shut down. I really, really did. I wanted that to happen.
We'll see that when he faces off against Ben.
Yeah. and it was interesting. I thought that Christian gave us that peek behind the curtain when he said that that after the match had been called, he was backstage with Guy telling him to turn on
Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yeah, Robert Meyer Burnett. So that was really cool that he gave us that behind the scenes peek. But at the same time, I'm curious, did he accidentally spoil that? Like if Guy loses if they lose in their next match, was that supposed to then happen and maybe Christian spoiled that little bit? I don't know. But it was still cool that he pulled the curtain back like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So that was that match was just really great on so many different levels.
And I mean, and that wasn't even the only controversial thing. I mean, there was a challenge laid out in round 2. There was a questionable answer in round 1. There was a lot of stuff going on during this match.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm sure you're going to cover all that on Talkin Schmoedown too, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Why don't you tell everybody about that show that you do?
Yeah, it's it's where I go and I talk about the whole week in the Schmoedown. I love the Schmoedown. I started watching it during season 3, and I have loved it ever since. I'm almost at a year mark now. Spectacular of last year is when I started. So be sure to head over there. It's Talkin Schmoedown right here on the Merc with a Movie Blog podcast feed. And I'll be talking about all 3 matches from this week for all 3 of the remaining round 2 matches they're going on. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, be sure to check that out, guys. It's a good show. I've listened to it quite a few times, actually. I really have, Josh. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and be like, yeah, dude, I listen to it every week, bro. But I have listened to it quite a few times. So, and
Before we
you
get out of
are much like
talk,
what's that? I'm sorry.
Before we get out of Schmoedown talk, I want to ask Kalyn something. How have you been enjoying these Kaiser and Smets Universal Studios little clips that you've been doing?
Oh, they're so terrible.
Since that's all storyline stuff.
Oh, I don't really pay attention to what they're actually saying, but they're terrible little.
Oh, there you have it, Christian. At least she's watching it, though.
Yep,
I'm watching it, but I'm blocking it out.
She probably mutes it the way she muted Wade over there.
Oh, man.
I do not mute it. I just go and do other things while it plays. But technically, I don't fast forward through it.
Well, that's one of the reasons we got Josh here. So
I guess it's a good thing you didn't. You stopped doing that. 'Cause you probably would have shut the match off after Paddington 2 won.
But I probably would have. Except for the fact that somebody had already spoiled it for me, so I knew I needed to pay attention. Because people are jerks. But speaking of Kaiser, I know we're going to talk about all the week in SEN Live in a little bit, but he is so adorable.
His personality is nothing like I thought it would be.
I know, and he's just so cute. You want to pinch his little cheeks.
He's actually from out near me where I live. That's where he's originally from. He's from Rochester. I used to live out closer by Buffalo, and I live closer to Syracuse, but I'm like an hour away from where he's from.
And I thought it was funny them making fun of his you don't expect with his accent.
Yeah.
For intelligent things to be coming out of his mouth. That was cracking me up.
Have you guys ever had a garbage plate? I gotta ask.
No.
Oh, never heard of it until then.
Dude, they're so good.
Man.
Gotta make yourself one.
So it is a good 1, 2, 3 a.m. dish when you're wasted.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, man, if I ever get somewhere where they have it, I will be sure to check it out.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
Here we just have Waffle House and Taco Bell for that.
Hey, I like Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
You got waffles the size of your head, That's cool.
Yeah. And then of course everyone has to clap when the waitress or waiter drops a bunch of dishes and shit.
You can get your hash browns covered and smothered,
Yeah, hash browns with extra hash, baby.
Oh, Lord.
And on that note, guys, we had great guests. Kalyn and I did a pre-recorded interview a couple weeks ago, and we've been just, oh my gosh, I don't know about you, Kalyn, but I've been just the fact that we've been sitting on this interview to drop it this week has been killing me.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, guys. So we got Katee Sackhoff. That Kalyn and I spoke to her a couple weeks ago, and she was an absolute delight. So we are going to go ahead and play that interview for you guys right now. And hey, we'll see you on the flip side of that. Well, guys, Kalyn and I are super excited for this week's guest. She starred in shows such as Battlestar Galactica, Longmire, and most recently the Netflix original Another Life. But me personally, probably most important thing is she is a schmo going back to the Toad Hop days, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Katee Sackhoff with us. Katee, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. You just brought back memories there.
Yes, we are an afterlife show for Christian Harloff's new SEN Live morning show. So yeah, we are fans of the Schmoeville and his work on Collider Live, Ultimate Movie Schmoedown. Both of us, as a matter of fact, just rewatched your epic match against the Pit Boss yesterday. So
where I pulled Alyssa Milano out of a hat.
Oh, yes. That was amazing. That was amazing. Real quick, since you brought that up, did you have even the slightest clue on that, or was that just literally out of your ass?
No, that was literally out of my ass.
Wow. Yeah, because that's a good one.
That was amazing. And it was so much fun to take a stroll back and see how the movie trivia Schmoedown has changed. Because it was very different. Yeah, y'all pulled little categories out of a hat.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which they recently had to bring back because their wheel failed.
Yeah, that show's changed so much. I mean, I think that it literally started with me and Christian and Mark squeezed in a bathroom for sound at his house many, many years ago. Oh yeah, it was like a hope and a dream back when we started. I think it was over 10 years ago.
Oh wow,
that's great. Yeah. That's great. And yeah, the professionalism of it has advanced too. And not to knock on when it first started, but it was Ellis with at least 2 or 3 beers sitting in front of him while calling the matches, and just super laid back and silly. And it's still silly, but Christian's definitely put the competition into it, and it shows. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, back in the day, we didn't do an episode without beer in front of us. So, things have changed a little bit. That's what happens when you get corporate sponsors. You're no longer allowed to drink out of a keg while you do interviews.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's something that Kalyn and I were both kind of curious about. Kalyn, I don't know a lot of Kalyns, but I do know a few. And this Kalyn here, my partner here, her spelling is the only person whom I know with that spelling of Kalyn. Now, I understand Katee's short, but I was curious, was the unique spelling for Katee, did it come from your youth, or is it something that you did later on more for work?
No, it's funny. So when I was 11 years old, I told my mom and dad I was going to be famous. And I thought it was because I was going to be like an Olympic swimmer. But there were so many Katees in my school that they couldn't differentiate between us. And I was like, well, if they can't differentiate between us at school with 50 kids in my class, how are they going to differentiate me from people when I'm famous? And so my mom let me sit down and change the spelling of my name, because Catherine was my legal name. So my name was originally spelled like everyone's, Katie. And so my mom and I sat on a road trip when I was, 11, and we came up with different ways to spell Katie, and this was the one we landed on.
Wow. So you had all this planned out from 11. That's great.
Yeah. And I don't think, like I said, it was, I thought I was going to be an athlete. So it changed definitely, but it's, I think that the determination's the same.
No, if you were thinking athlete, what sport or sports exactly was it that you were interested in?
So I was a swimmer. So I thought that I would at least swim in college. That was always my plan. And then I got hurt when I was about 15 and couldn't swim anymore. So it sort of made me reevaluate my life plans and my goals, because at 15, they're 15-year-old swimmers in the Olympics. So it was, it was a plan that in my mind was not far away, or at least only 3 years for college. And when I got hurt, it was sort of like a massive retooling of what I thought my life was going to look like and what I wanted to do.
Wow. I don't know if at 15 I knew anything.
I think the only things that I knew was that I didn't want to do something normal and I didn't want to stay at home. And I'd always had a love of film and television with my father. It was sort of our thing. And I think it was just sort of this, and I was always a ham growing up. So, I mean, there's pictures of me with tap shoes on when I'm 2, dancing and singing on the kitchen table. So I think it was actually meant to happen. It just sort of like, I got distracted by being an athlete for a long time.
Yeah. Well, do you happen to remember the first film that you and your father saw together?
We watched The Abyss. It was one of my favorite movies.
Right.
And then I have vivid memories of watching Predator with him when I was about 7. So my dad showed me all these movies you should never show a child. And he would pause them when I got scared and he would explain, that it wasn't real and that this is how they did it. And that was makeup. And he would point out the makeup and he would point out this. And so I had a very healthy understanding of fantasy when I was a kid. And so things didn't really scare me too much. And so, I mean, the only thing he showed me that still scares me is Jaws. I'm still deathly afraid of sharks. And he did that to me when I was about 8.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. See, real quick with the Jaws, I was about 5 when my folks exposed me to that movie. And to this day, I refuse to get in large bodies of water by myself. Swimming pools, I have a hard time getting in swimming pools by myself.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, the swimming pools is more from the James Bond movie. I can't remember which one, but there was a shark in the pool, and the bad guy threw him in the pool. But the ocean, for sure. And I was raised in Houston, so we would go to the Gulf quite a bit. So after seeing Jaws and living that close to the Gulf, to the water, it terrified me. But yeah, not even lakes.
No,
I won't
even
get in lakes.
The golf. Yeah, I'm the same way. Lakes sort of freak me out. If I can't see my feet, I'm not too happy about it. But so we have a very similar fear, you and I.
Yeah, and it is a legit fear too. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, people die. It's not like we pulled it out of thin air and we're like, oh, we're scared of ladybugs. Yeah,
and movies can scar you too. That is an absolute fact.
Yeah, well, now we know this.
Yes.
So, I have a question. Based on, I guess I should preface this by saying I went back and watched your one-on-one with Christian that you did. That's been a year and a half ago, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
And I had watched it back then, but I went back and rewatched it, and I was very, very struck by just how aware you are of your fans and the image that you put out to your fans, and that, there may be little girls looking up to you, and that you want to make sure that you're putting out the right image. Is that something that you've been very conscientious of through your whole career, or is that something that has just at some point arose, or did it just happen naturally?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely grew into that. I think it's a very rare 21-year-old to be so self-aware that they're worried about children emulating them. So when I started and I was 18, I really didn't give two shits, to be honest. But I think as I got older and I started thinking a bit more globally and less locally, I started realizing the sort of the social awareness aspect of what I wanted my career to be. I've always had a moral compass that was very much dictated by my mom and dad. And for me, I was very clear on what I would and wouldn't do on camera based on if I couldn't watch it with my father, I wouldn't do it. And so that was a very, very clear distinction for me there. So that saved me a lot of hard decisions in this business, which can really wreak havoc on a young girl's life and her decisions, because you want success so bad, you know? And for me, it was always very easy decisions. If there was nudity, I wouldn't do it. If there was simulated sex, I wouldn't do it. And the older I got, the more that changed, for sure. I mean, by the time I was doing sex scenes on Battlestar, I was 25, you know, so it was a little bit different. And there was still no nudity. And when I got Riddick, I actually called my father for permission. I was 32 years old, and I called my dad because there was a 3 to 5 second push in on my boob. And I asked him for permission. And my dad said, Katee, you're a 32-year-old woman. No one's going to think you've made it because you showed your boob in a Vin Diesel movie. Like, you've got a career now. You're fine. And he said, I'm okay. It's just a boob. So I was like, all right. So I've always had that, which was great. But I think when social media started to come up when I was about 21, 22, and I realized how much it could affect me emotionally, I think I started looking to the correlation and the connection between the things that I was doing and what I was putting out into the world, and how it could potentially adversely affect young people and adults.
That's great that you were aware of that at such a young age. I mean, definitely today with the younger folks in the industry, it seems like that's not a forethought for them. So that has a lot to do, or it shows a lot rather, toward your character. And it sounds like your family had a lot to do with that, with your development and you know, your morals and what you choose to do today with your career. And that's a really good thing.
It's different. I look at so many of these young people now, and it's so hard to explain to someone that is young that it never dies. It's never going to go away. The decisions you make right now, sadly, young people now are not allowed to make mistakes the way we were, because it lives forever online. And so they've got to be very, very careful about the things that they choose to put out there. And if you put it on the internet, or if you've got it on your phone, it's going to live forever. But it's really hard to explain to a child or a young adult how that is actually going to affect their life as an adult, potentially. And that's really hard. And I don't envy these kids coming up now. It's a very different world to navigate than what we had.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've got quite a few years on Kalyn, so back when I was a little bit younger, yeah, there's all kinds of things that you could do, and you could do them knowing no one would ever find out, and that's a lot different than today.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many mistakes that I made in my late teens and early 20s that, thank God, the internet didn't exist.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm scared thinking about my past now, and thanking God that it's the past and it can stay there.
Yeah,
Most of it, at least.
Absolutely. I mean, and there is something to be said for being able to make those mistakes as a kid, and knowing that you only got to live them down in your neighborhood. You know, it's hard for kids to be so socially aware that they understand what they're doing.
That's very true. Very true.
You seem, just from what I've seen of you, obviously I don't know you personally, but you seem very, not just self-aware, but also very grounded in reality, and very humble, and not overly like celebritized, where you're, you know, I don't know how to quite describe it, but does that also come from your parents and your upbringing?
For sure. I think that there's a multitude of things that I think prevented me from going that direction, I guess. But I think one of them is that I've never had overnight success. You know, my career has very much been climbing up a ladder. And so I never had that intense media presence in my face. And it allowed me to gradually get used to what this business was. And then to also, you know, I've had moments of it where you realize that it's not real and it's ridiculous. And we are playing make-believe. And this is I'm not curing cancer. Granted, I am, hopefully impacting people's lives and giving them art and things that give them escape, but that's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not changing the world. So I think that, and my parents are their first people to remind me of that at all times, that, that what I'm doing, while it's meaningful to me and the people that it's impacted, I'm not doing anything outlandishly great. I'm just an actor. And then also I think that the thing that's been really important to me, and I don't think you can realize this until you've been in the business long enough to see it, every single person is replaceable. And I think when you realize that, and you realize that while you might have a skill set and you might be uniquely qualified for a role, there is somebody out there that is just as qualified for it, and you are replaceable. I think that it makes you a bit more humble.
That's really awesome, and that's not necessarily something that you see from, I mean, it's hard to know because a celebrity, an actor, an actress, a director, a producer, a writer, whatever the case may be, obviously you don't see every aspect of their life and every aspect of their personality. You see, you see their public persona, but, you don't always see that. Sometimes you think that based on just the way people behave or the things that they say in public, that they are not still latched onto reality, that it's taking
funny.
them to a different place.
Yeah. And I always said this, that if a person is showing you a piece of their personality publicly, you can only assume it's worse in private. Because we normally give people our best, because that's sort of what we're trained to do. We're trained to be the best versions of ourselves when the camera's on us, because that's the polite thing to do. That's the right thing. We put our best foot forward because actors are inherently insecure and we want to be liked. So if someone's giving you, unless it's completely calculated, which there are definitely people out there who have created personas that are incredibly calculated. So, but if you're seeing pieces of a person in interviews and you're getting that snippet of who they are, and they're showing you that publicly, it scares me what they're like privately.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
Yes, it is. Very good. Kalyn and I also were talking yesterday, and we were curious. You've done a lot as far as sci-fi, drama, horror. You've done voiceover work, stuff like that. But if someone were to come to you and give you a blank check, and you could fill it out for whatever amount in order to fill in some gaps in your resume, whether it be for a specific part or a genre of a film, or you would just like to create and direct anything you wanted, what would you do with that check?
Oh, God. Honestly, I don't know. My goal as an actor has always just been to continue to create content and to be able to have this outlet. So I don't know. There are a slew of people that I have been dying to work with my entire life. Gary Oldman, I've been dying to work with him, since I was a little kid. I've got, just a list of people that I would want to work with. But I don't really know what I would do. If someone gave me a blank check, in all honesty, I'd probably do a whole lot more to it than just create another movie. I probably would. I don't know what I would do, but I'd give it some hefty thought before I actually wrote anything on that.
Yeah, that would be one of those definite once in a lifetime opportunities that you can't just squander on anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's I think that the older I get to, the more I realize that this industry that I absolutely love and I love to be creative, it's not necessarily the end or the next phase of my life. We have the blessing these days to not just have sort of one career. We can shift and we can reinvent ourselves constantly. So I don't know what I would do with a blank check, if it would actually be in the entertainment industry or not.
That's all right. I don't know what I'd do with a blank check either, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I might also remake Die Hard and just make myself like the female Bruce Willis.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Ooh,
That is brilliant.
A crazy person. Like, I always wanted to save the Nakatomi building when I was a kid. That's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be Bruce Willis because it's still, in my opinion, the best Christmas movie of all time. So, I'm not, my creativity is very easy.
You just saying that you love Die Hard, but then to add on to that it's your favorite Christmas movie, you just completely stole my heart and made my day. That I've been crying that cry of that movie being the best Christmas movie for years and years, but you always have those few who agree and those few who don't. But you just made my whole day.
I mean, it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
There's someone dressed up like Santa, and it's snowing. I don't understand. Of course it's Christmas.
The whole point he was even out there was because of Christmas, to spend the holiday with his kids.
With his family.
So, I mean, come on, people. Even Katee Sackhoff says it's a Christmas movie.
It's true. If The Snowman with Michael Keaton is a Christmas movie, then this is a Christmas movie.
Yes. Well,
no, wait, what was that movie called? Frost? Jack Frost.
Jack Frost?
Jack Frost is a Christmas movie. So is Die Hard.
Wow.
I have a confession. I just saw Die Hard this past Christmas for the first time.
Well, at least you finally watched it.
I did finally watch it. I'm knocking a lot of movies off my list. I just saw Jaws for the first time in the past year.
Good. Have you seen Driving Miss Daisy?
No.
I've not even seen that.
Y'all need to watch that movie. It's one of the best. Jessica Tandy was one of the best actors of all time.
Is Morgan Freeman the driver?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to. As a matter of fact, based off your recommendation, Kalyn and I will have to do a movie review of Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, please do. I'm a big sap for movies like that. Like, I also just watched like Bridges of Madison County, which was absolutely stunning.
I've never seen that either.
It's a good one, but it's a chick flick. You're not gonna. There's no getting around that one, guys.
That's all right. I don't mind chick flicks.
Well, one thing we've been doing lately is giving each other some movies to watch. He made me watch Clerks and Clerks 2 recently.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience, and knowing kind of what he went through to make Clerks. Yeah. You know, it's a very much it's very inspirational, the entire thing. Like, if he can do it, anyone can do it, you know.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So we will add these to our list. What did I make you watch recently?
Cinderella and
you mean
the Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings Playbook.
I made him watch the live action Cinderella that they made not too long ago because he has a thing against Disney. He doesn't he hates like all the like cartoon musicals and all of that. So I made him watch the live action one.
You hate Disney, but like, you don't hate new Disney. You hate like typical Disney.
I'll tell you what happened, and I think you'll understand as soon as you hear it. When I was a little kid, and I think one of the first Disney movies classics that I can remember seeing was Bambi, and it made me cry.
Well, Bambi's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, and it fucked me up, and for that reason, I just, I like the Fox Robin Hood. That's really great. But other than that, I mean, I just watched The Lion King last year for the first time, and I fast forwarded through the songs. So
yeah,
really?
He didn't even watch the whole
new
thing.
Lion King, though?
No, I've not seen that yet, but I am interested in seeing it. It looks amazing.
I loved it. It's I think it's incredibly creative. My boyfriend, we both enjoyed it, like, visually. It was absolutely amazing. It's pretty much the same story. But I loved it. I loved it just because it was like, Absolutely amazing. But have you seen the cartoon Lion King as well?
Oh yeah, I watch it all the time. Like
Yeah.
I just put it on for no reason, but he had just seen it because I made him watch it recently.
That was another one on our, she'll give me one to watch and I'll give her one to watch that she's never seen. That's kind of a little thing we've been doing, and she shafted me with Lion King.
Well, that sounds funny. I worked with Richard Dreyfuss many, many years ago, and he wouldn't come to work with me unless I'd gone home that weekend and watched a black and white film, because I'd never seen black and white films. Granted, I was only 20 years old, but I'd never really seen black and white films. And excuse me, I'm going to sneeze at some point soon, so
That's
I apologize. Excuse me. Thank you. And so
bless you.
It's the only reason I found High Noon, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time. Even though it's technically not black and white, but he gave me a list of movies to watch, and I would have to come back and watch these movies. So I've watched a lot of old movies because of Richard Dreyfuss.
That is great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. You don't say no to Richard.
No, I wouldn't. No. We're gonna have Kalyn take us through a quick game with you and wrap up our wonderful interview here with you. It's been great so far, just loving it. And I say so far because some of these questions I'm looking at we have for you. This should be interesting. But Kalyn, you want to explain what we're gonna do here real quick?
Yeah, so every question I ask you is of the form like, would you rather? Would you rather do this or would you rather do that? Jay's are a little more. Yes.
You guys, my boyfriend plays this would you rather thing with me and these hypotheticals, and I refuse to answer them. The other day he tried to get me to decide if I would save a dog or him if the house was on fire, and I said the dogs.
Oh my gosh. I don't think any of ours are quite that morbid. But
no.
And he wouldn't let it go because I got angry, and he was like, it's hypothetical, and I was like, it's not hypothetical.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Well, Jay's questions are a little more free form, so we'll see how this goes. Okay,
All
so
right.
my first question is, would you rather live in summer forever or live in winter forever?
Summer.
For viewing pleasure, movies or TV series?
Movies.
Would you rather have your hair to your butt or be completely bald for the rest of your life?
My hair to my butt.
What would win in a fight, a bear or a shark?
Oh, fuck. A shark would win a fight between a bear. Because the bear would have to go into the water, and the shark is better in water than a bear, even though a bear can swim. And also, what kind of shark? See, I'm really bad at this game. I need you got to explain. Is it a great white, or is it like a reef shark?
I don't know, because my logic always stopped at the bear just has to pull it out of the water and just walk away and it'll die.
It's true. That's very true. The bear
is
could
true.
Just be like, you could treat it like a really big salmon and just like catch it.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather give up sugar or give up salt?
Give up sugar.
Who's more fun after a few drinks, Harloff or Ellis?
Ellis. Oh, poor Christian. Just because I feel like Ellis changes so much when he drinks, and Harloff doesn't change that much. He's just like he's just always Christian. Like Christian's always Christian.
I can see
Really? Yeah. Okay. Would you rather go to the beach or go to the mountains?
Mountains. Even though I'd rather live at the beach.
There's
That's
nothing
great.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it to you. Which Star Trek movies do you prefer, the originals or the J.J. Abrams remakes?
The originals.
Would you rather have no arms or no legs?
Oh, Jesus. They told me these weren't morbid.
Okay, that's probably the worst one.
All right, no legs.
Okay.
I can get down with that, too.
That was my thought, was no legs.
Yeah.
Like, you could still get around, get you a wheelchair, you could still cook and whatever.
Yeah, you could still be self-sufficient.
Yeah, for sure. What is the more soothing sound to you, a running stream or rain on a tin roof?
Oh my God. Rain on a Tin Roof.
Beautiful.
Would you rather always feel like you have to pee but can't, or always feel like you have to sneeze but can't?
Oh my God, sneeze. Because UTIs are not fun.
Oh no,
Ooh.
no.
Like I feel like every woman has known that feeling. So it's like, no. I'd rather just feel like I have to sneeze because I feel like I could like plug it or something.
Would you rather, or not would you rather, but when you're working for a living inside with access to a shower, or work outside with no access to a shower?
Oh my God. I'd rather work outside with no access to a shower.
I can see that. I guess you could find a stream or something.
You could find a stream. That's what I was thinking.
Would you rather wear socks without shoes or shoes without socks?
Socks without shoes.
Which horror villain would you be more likely to be able to get away from, Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees?
Jason, because Freddy, you can't see him.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, Freddy just like he'll come up and like in a bed.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that movie either.
Don't. You won't sleep for a week. Don't do it.
That movie's why I refuse to take baths since I was 5 years old and I only take showers.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yep.
Would you rather have to sleep alone in a bed by yourself for the rest of your life, or have to sleep with someone who snores for the rest of your life?
I'd rather be alone. That was easy. That was really easy.
If you could only do a voice in one show, would it be Star Wars or Robot Chicken?
Oh fuck, y'all. I can't pick.
They're both so fun, I can imagine.
Well, and they're both so different. Like,
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's amazing. I absolutely love playing her. But Bitch Puddin' is like fucking crazy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she's crazy. That is the closest I have gotten in my entire life to thinking that I, like, morally, maybe I shouldn't do this. It is. There are moments where I have watched episodes of Robot Chicken and been like, we did that, didn't we? That's really inappropriate. I don't know if we should have done that.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Would you rather only wear the color black or only wear the color white?
The color white.
Oh, that is a ballsy choice.
Anders or Apollo?
Oh no, Anders.
All right.
Yeah, that was my choice. I thought that Starbuck was better suited for him.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have two more questions for you. Would you rather die young and famous or die old and anonymous?
Die old and anonymous.
Awesome. And one last thing, this is not a would you rather. So, punch, tickle, hug, and your options are Ellis, Makuga, and Harloff.
Punch, tickle, hug?
Yes, instead of fuck, marry, kill.
So, I would rather tickle Ellis and hug Harloff and punch Makuga. only because I just went to Halloween Horror Nights with him, and I feel like if I punched him, it would make him scream and like run and hide.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of which, how was that experience?
It was hysterical. It was absolutely hysterical. I went with my boyfriend Robin went with me, and we it was absolutely hysterical. I tried to explain to him the whole Josh thing and how scared he gets, and I don't think he was prepared for it. I don't think anyone's prepared for that. When he screams like a girl and he picks people up as like human shields. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh wow!
Have you seen the edited together footage that they posted?
I saw some of it. It's pretty stupendous.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
It was so amazing. And yeah, that was really good stuff. For us Collider Live fans and all that, it was great just seeing Makuga in that state, and then you being in there too was an added treat. So that was really great.
It was really, really fun. It's It was great. This whole YouTube thing, like, it's funny actually, because we've Robin and I created a YouTube channel. So I didn't even know that Collider had a YouTube channel. I didn't know that until I watched the episode.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't know.
Well, I can see that. You got a lot going on. YouTube's not one of those forums that's easy to keep up with what's going on there, to be honest.
No, and truthfully, like, I didn't really go to YouTube at all until Robin and I created our show. So that's the only reason I figured it out, was we've been spending so much time on YouTube just trying to get our episodes out and figure out what people wanted to see and things like that, that I didn't know that Collider had one.
Yeah, it is different than like television, because you don't just, flip through the channels and, find something and go, oh, this is on here. And I found Collider through the Schmoes, like watching back when Harloff and Ellis would do movie reviews and stuff, and then they were doing movie talk, and then that became part of Collider and everything. And then I've since found other stuff, but you just find stuff a lot of times through what people mention. Like somebody will say something about Screen Junkies or whatever, and then you end up just like finding it that way. There's just no centralized place to look for anything.
No, it's really interesting. I mean, there is so much that we had to learn when just for our show, that, like, I mean, it was really interesting. Like, Robin's done so much research about like how to find things and algorithms and all of these crazy things, so people actually would find our channel. It's very interesting.
That's awesome. What is the name of that channel?
Oh, so it's just my name, Katee Sackhoff, but our show is called Blood, Sweat, and Coffee. It's sort of it's a metaphor for what we sort of think life takes.
Cool.
Yeah, so we just started it. The first season aired on what, babe? On August 6th. He's sitting on the couch eating bacon.
Bacon.
Exactly. On August 6th, and it's been so much fun, like really a lot of fun. I mean, talk about, finding a different medium for the same sort of outlet that, like an actor. I mean, it's been really, really interesting to engage with the fans on a different level.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely gonna have to check that out.
Oh, for
yeah, you
sure.
should. It's fun. There's definitely some crazy episodes in there. We did an episode about alcohol, like how alcohol affects your body, and I got drunk with one of the actors from Longmire, and we went to the Santa Monica Pier, so that was fun. We did an episode about Spartan races, and I got myself in shape and did a Spartan race in Hawaii. So,
wow.
Yeah, so every episode sort of has a sort of overall like wholeness and wellness approach to life, but they're wrapped up in a fun package.
Sounds
That's
great.
really cool.
Yeah.
How many episodes do you have up?
We did 10, and we're just now sitting down and doing the second season and trying to figure out what we're going to do for the second season, which is really fun.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a great interview, and we would love to have you back anytime you want to come back.
Oh my God, absolutely. I'm always around. And now that I know what this app is, it's on my phone. So so I can find you guys again very easily. I won't need Robin's help this time.
Yeah, you absolutely have an open invitation.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's some really crazy cool stuff happening in the next year that I can't really talk about yet, but it'll be right up y'all's alley.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yay. Oh, and I did see Another Life was picked up for a second season.
Yeah, we just got picked up yesterday. So, I mean, I've known about it for a few months, but I couldn't tell anyone. So,
right.
It's we're really excited. What's great about Netflix is they actually give you feedback. They tell you exactly what people liked and exactly what they didn't like. And so I think that we've got a unique opportunity to really take into effect what the fans loved and actually hated, because we were pretty much right down the middle. 50% loved us and 50% hated us. So I think that we're in a unique position to actually give the people that liked it more, and then get some new audience members too by changing some things up, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I binged it when it came out because it had come out right about when you were on Collider Live, how I heard about it. And I binged it, and I really enjoy it. It's an excellent show. Really looking forward to the next season. Do you have anything else that you'd like to plug before you get out of here?
That's everything. I mean,
All
all
right.
the things I want to plug, I can't talk about yet.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Understandable. But yeah, thanks for letting us know about the YouTube channel. I had no idea, and I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Oh, you should. It's really fun. And it's honestly, when we first started it, we were sort of like, I don't know if people are going to like this. But I think that because Robin is my producing partner and my boyfriend, it's actually really became like this like labor of love that we're putting so much into because we live together. So we're constantly trying to figure out how to make it better and what episodes we're going to do. And it's just become a lot of fun.
Yep, sounds like it.
Awesome.
Well, again, Katee Sackhoff, everybody. Katee, thank you so much for your time. We've had a blast. So we really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I didn't know what to expect. I thought I was going to be texting my whole interview, which you guys,
No.
you're really glad I didn't because my fingers, I'm not very good on this thing.
No texting here, but it is good with this podcast that we don't do video. That helps out a lot too.
Yeah, it does help because then you can actually it helps. We've got terrible Wi-Fi in our house. So when we do the video, it's actually not as good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that can be an issue. Did y'all just hear a random video play on my computer a second ago?
No.
Oh, well, I heard, I popped something popped up and it started playing and I thought it interrupted everything.
Oh, it's all good.
Well, that's good.
I hope it wasn't porn.
No, I was actually looking for your YouTube site.
Could you imagine if that was porn too?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it is porn. That's why Robin and I that's why it's so great.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out now. I'm interested to see what Robin's got going on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, that's funny.
Oh, thank you again so much, Katee. It was great. And we look forward to talking to you again in the future sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, holy crap, guys. That was a whole hell of a lot of fun. What'd you guys think about that? Well, I mean, Kalyn, you were there, but Josh, what'd you think about that?
It was a great interview. I love Katee Sackhoff. Ever since I first saw her on Battlestar Galactica, I followed her ever since then. She's fantastic.
No, I know, dude. I was, for 99.9% of me was really calm and collected, but then there was that 0.1% of me on the inside that was like, dude, I'm fucking talking to Starbuck, man, and it sounds like Starbuck. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing, dude. But yeah, she was just absolutely delightful.
She was, and you totally fangirled whenever she started talking about Die Hard being a great Christmas movie, the best.
She still owns my heart because of that. Oh my gosh,
that was so funny,
so great, yeah.
And I just re-listened to it, and I think it's been about a month ago because I feel like we recorded it before. Yeah, recorded it before we ever even started doing SEN After Live, and it just taking a stroll back down memory lane and remembering okay, so back when we recorded this, which was not that long ago, Christian was still with Collider, Josh was still with Collider. They had just done that Halloween Horror Nights thing. It's just crazy how much has changed in such a short span of time.
Yeah. And when, we'll go ahead and say this too, just because I think it's funny. When Katee came into our server, we do all this on Discord. And when Katee came on the server, Mike, who is a co-host now on Afterlive, at the time we were all still on Afterlive, like Caitlin just said. Or Kalyn, sorry about that. Kalyn just said,
"What the hell, Wade?"
Sorry, I was just at my buddy's house, and their daughter's name is Caitlin, and I was talking to her for a few minutes.
Oh, I thought you were doing a bit because Kate did the same thing.
Did she?
Yeah,
I hadn't even noticed.
Did she call me Caitlin today?
Yeah, she was like, Kalyn. Yeah, she did the same thing.
Oh, I didn't even
man.
notice.
I thought you were just doing a bit. Sorry.
No. I wish I was now, but no. But oh fuck, what was I saying?
You were saying
yeah.
that when she came into the server.
Yes, Mike, who is still on Afterlife with Sarah and Sean. He was, he did what we all do, welcome, no matter who it is, welcome them into the server. But he didn't know who she was, and he, we have our main general chat, and then we've got a little private room for just us crew members of the shows. And he's like, who's that? And when I told him it was Katee Sackhoff for an interview for this show, which hadn't started yet, I could hear him just like, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, because I know Mike, I know he loves Katee Sackhoff too. And I was just like, damn it, dude, I know, I'm sorry, but it was really fucking great. But yeah, that's I don't know, that just cracked me up. I love Mike. He's a good dude. But yeah, that was a really fun interview. It was an absolute delight having her on. And as you heard in there, she when we told her that Kalyn and I review movies that we have not seen yet, we suggested that we would probably have to do Driving Miss Daisy. She told us to do it, and we watched it, and we're going to do that right now real quick. Kalyn, ladies first.
Well, first of all, I think this is our first review on SEN After Live.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we haven't done a movie review on here. So I watched it this week, and it was definitely a movie. And so it was interesting. It was definitely a sign of the times, in which it was made. Like, this is not a movie that could have been made exactly in this way today. But love me some Morgan Freeman. Love Jessica Tandy. So that was great. The one thing I was having real trouble with the whole time was Dan Aykroyd's accent.
Really?
That was driving me up a wall. It was just But the story was great in the sense that I didn't expect it to be about these two very unlikely friends, and she's extremely stubborn and
maybe a little bit racist, perhaps.
Well,
I mean, and I don't mean that in like I'm really saying she was a racist bitch. I mean, like, for real, she was not overtly racist. You know what I mean? She was just, there was some little hints of maybe some racism there, perhaps.
It was more of stereotyping, I think.
That is a better word. Yes, yeah. You're right. That's a better word. Yeah.
More that, she was worried that, and I don't even know that it was race, because she loved her maid, or I guess it was. I guess she was a maid.
She was really short with her a lot, though. You know what I mean? She definitely treated her and talked to her like help.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't exactly nice to her son either. But yeah, and very unlikely friends, given the circumstances and the times. But both sort of experiencing, some prejudices at the time. He being a black man in the South in the 50s and 60s, of course he did. He couldn't even use some of the same restrooms or whatever. And she being a Jewish woman, their
upper class.
Yeah, and their temple got bombed. So, which I did not see coming. And
I still don't understand what that had to, or how, in what way that furthered the plot.
I think it was more just the realization that.
Oh, it just hit me that because she's the Jewish and the not Jewish aren't considered a minority, but I see what you're saying now as far as Jewish and the treatment toward the Jewish race. And is that what you were kind of saying? That just hit me.
Yeah, like I think he felt for her.
Right.
Deeply in that moment, because but he, as a people, this was right when the civil rights movement was going on and everything. So the Black community in America was experiencing some very similar things and had been for a while. And so I'm sure he felt for her in that moment. And I'm sure it also gave her some idea of what he was going through.
Yeah.
Hang on, y'all. I've got to walk away. I hear Kelly screaming. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Dude, I'm telling you, that Billie Eilish guy, his music fucking sucks, dude. Holy shit.
Shit.
No, for real though, what fucks me up about her is her music, as far as like when it's like out on the charts and shit. I can't stand it. But I saw her on Howard Stern, and she was just in there with her guitar player guy. And it was just her and the dude on guitar, and they did 2 of her songs acoustic style, and I loved them. I was like, this is fucking good. But then when you start adding all the weird dance music and all that bullshit, it's just like, ugh.
You want to hear something weird about like music that I just discovered recently? So Sugar Ray.
Yes.
His famous songs like Fly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That song is on the album Floored. Have you listened to this album before?
No.
Okay. So my wife has it on her Apple Music, and it was playing through the other day. And so like Fly, she started it off with Fly because that was the song she wanted to listen to. And it kept going, and I'm like, what the fuck band is this? Like after that song, like the next couple songs, I'm like, what the fuck band is this? Because it's like, it almost sounded like fucking like Rage Against the Machine or something.
Right.
And it's fucking Sugar Ray. I'm like,
yeah.
What the fuck? All the stuff that they play on the radio for this band sounds nothing like these other songs on the same fucking album. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
They were a little bit kind of hardcore and shit, and then they sold out with that whole "I just want to fly."
I mean, it made them money and shit, but like I'm listening to, I'm like, this is good shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I like Fly and all, but those other songs that was good stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You back, Kalyn?
I am. Yeah, she was screaming bloody murder, and he literally all I did was he was holding her and he handed her to me, and she stopped. So I don't know what was wrong.
Let her mama.
Like, I need mama.
And I don't even know what we were talking about because I was so distracted. We were talking about Driving Miss Daisy, but. Yes. Okay, so what were your views on it, J Wade?
I enjoyed it. I liked that it was an hour and a half and there was no BS. It was just the story that they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Dan Aykroyd in it. I like his southern man kind of style. I think it was pretty sweet. But I really did. I enjoyed the overall story, but there were 2 moments that I enjoyed more than anything. One of them was one of them I enjoyed, and the other one kind of just made me sad. But it did have a little up part to it. The one that made me sad because it happened first was when he drove her to hear Dr. King speak, and she didn't invite him in with her. That was kind of shitty and sad, but when she was in there listening to him, you could see that she was having a realization that she had made a bad decision there. And so I liked that part of that sad bit. But then I really liked when she was in the home toward the end, and Dan Aykroyd and Morgan Freeman go to see her, and she just tells Dan Aykroyd to like, I can't remember what she said, but like basically like go flirt with the ladies or go do something. Go off and find somebody to talk to, because she was wanting to talk to Morgan Freeman. And I just liked that a lot, that she was just like, get the fuck out of here. I want to talk to my buddy. But yeah, I mean, everything you said pretty much hit on what I thought. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it wasn't anything. It was a very good story with a good message. It wasn't anything I think that was outstandingly spectacular, but I liked it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that was about my feeling. Like, she's a character who, she was still her at the end of the movie. Like, she was still the same person, but she had grown. Mm-hmm. And evolved and, let him into her life a little bit and learned to trust him and rely on him. And even later on said, "You're my best friend."
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was great.
It was just a very endearing story. But yeah, nothing outrageously fantastic, that
Yeah.
I need to
good
revisit
acting,
a bunch.
but I mean, the acting was really great, but the story didn't quite elevate the acting, the story wasn't as great as the acting, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The acting far outweighed the story and whatnot, I thought.
Well, and seeing Jessica Tandy just made me want to go watch Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie, but she was in Cocoon, right?
I'm not sure.
I used to watch Cocoon all the time because I love Wilford Brimley. I still do. Yeah. But hey, you're here, Josh. We haven't forgot about you. Let you in on this. What do you think of Driving Miss Daisy?
Well, I mean, next month it's the 30th anniversary of this film. You got Morgan Freeman, you got Jessica Tandy, Dan Aykroyd. It's an Oscar winner. It's even got 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice, but what are your actual thoughts on the movie?
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh. Excellent. There you go, everybody. I do love facts, though, so I can't complain too much. Oh, my gosh. And on that note, guys, we're going to take a quick pause for some promos for some other shows from Merc with the Movie Blog, and we will see you here in a minute. Well, we won't see you, actually, I guess, but we will talk to you here in a minute.
We'll see you.
Oh, yeah, we will see you. I've got cameras in your houses.
Hey everybody, Sean and Wade here to tell you about our new review show following each episode of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian.
Dude, yes, Boba Fett!
Not exactly, Wade. Set in the Star Wars universe, The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi and follows a Mandalorian bounty hunter beyond the reaches of the New Republic.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Did you even watch Return of the Jedi? Never mind. Join us here every week on the Merc with the Movie Blog feed. Thank God Kalyn will be here too. I don't think I can handle Wade on my own.
Hi everyone, this is Sarah, host of Go Get That Rose podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to talking about all things Bachelor Nation. Join J Wade, a man in his 40s who is recently new to all things Bachelor Nation, and myself, someone who has been watching passionately for the past 3 years, as we review, share our thoughts on each episode of whatever show is currently on TV, whether that is Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Bachelor in Paradise. We might not even know everyone's name, but we have fun nonetheless. You can find us on Merc with a Movie Blog feed wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey there, Schmoedown fans. This is Josh the Merc Raynor, and I am here to tell you about my show, Talkin Schmoedown. Whether it's Andrew Guy getting hit with a chair, John Roca screaming, "Outlaw!" or the emotional retirement of the Shire Wolf, I talk about it all. So you can catch me right here on Anchor and all the other major podcasting platforms. So, as I ask every episode, are you ready to talk Schmoedown? I am.
Hey, it's Sarah, and I'd like to tell you about Afterlife. It's a weekly Collider Live after show podcast where Mike, Sean, and I give our takes on Roxy and Dorinda's annex, on Yodi's producing skills, and whatever Cody and Alex are up to in that booth. In addition to having guests, we expand on the crew's discussions and add our own craziness to the mix. You can find the show on Merc with a Movie Blog feed on all the podcasting platforms. See you soon!
Check them all out. Go and listen to every damn single one of them because they all kick ass, and a couple of them have me on them, so, you can't beat that.
Yeah, you don't need to listen to those.
Oh, well, then don't listen to 3 of the shows on Merc with a Movie Blog.
That's true. Wade's over here taking over.
Josh is like, don't listen to anything that Wade does here. Just listen to the other shit. So turn this show off right now. Don't you dare, guys. Don't you dare. No,
the
but
problem is if they don't listen to J Wade, they don't listen to me because I'm not on anything separate from J Wade.
Well, we got.
So you were a Mandalorian. You were Mandalorian with us. Review.
Yeah, but you're on that show.
Yeah, but you're on that too.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're screwed, Kalyn. I'm sorry.
I know. So, just everyone out there, endure the J Wade with me.
We'll have to get a new show called Baby Talk with Kalyn.
Yes. Oh, can we please talk about babies and how cute they are and how they sound like little dinosaurs? Oh.
Only if you can get Sean on there to talk about Baby Yoda. That's it.
Fucking Baby Yoda. That asshole last episode of that shit, man, made me fall in love with that little fucking asshole. I want a fucking Baby Yoda as a fucking Christmas present now. It pisses me off.
And it has to, move. It's got to be like one of those little animatronic bitches.
Well, I don't care about that. I want a stuffed one so I can fucking snuggle with it when I'm going to bed, dude.
Okay, both then. I want one that's roaming around my house. Chasing my cat around.
That little fucker, it was really cute though when he kept getting out of the crib thing to try to heal the Mandalorian. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of Star Wars, on SEN Live, while they were talking about this episode, they were doing all these cute little Star Wars-y transitions.
Fuck you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
They were so cute.
No,
they were so
not.
cute. Yes, they were.
They were garbage.
Why are you hating on them?
Because they were garbage.
Why were they garbage?
Because I did not like the way that they looked going from... It's different when you're going from one scene to another scene in a movie and doing that swipe transition. But
it's different when you're going from outer space to Bespin.
Yeah, that too. But they're switching from one camera to the next just to show the next person, and that there's a lag because of it. And they do quick cuts, and so it would transition slide, and then they'd quick cut back, and it would transition. It really got on my nerves. I couldn't stand it. I'm glad it only lasted. I'm glad it only lasted during the Star Wars.
I'll be honest. I didn't even notice. I really didn't even notice. I did until you put it in the notes. I didn't have a clue what the fuck you were talking about.
One of the few times that I actually watched the show instead of listened to it, so I actually saw it.
Yeah,
because usually I'm a podcast listener. So
right, yep.
Well, I noticed it, and I even put it in my own little personal notes, and then and I was like, oh, these cute little transitions, and then I saw that you had put in our public notes, oh, those stupid transitions or whatever it was, and I'm like, no.
So you grilled me on it. Why did you like them so much then?
Because it was right in theme with what they were talking about. If they did it all the time, it'd be annoying, but they were talking about Star Wars.
I think it was too on the nose. I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I find the actual transitions in Star Wars to be sort of cheesy. So
well, they definitely are, and I mean they're from the fucking 70s, so it makes sense. It's that they're kind of cheesy. They didn't
weren't cheesy in the 70s.
Yeah, but they still do those. They still do them.
That's
because Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, and those are movies, and it's not just a couple of people talking back and forth.
Well, I think they're cute. I thought it was adorable.
I don't know if that's the word I would use for a transition.
But I also thought that, okay, so I've been in an adorable mood because Kaiser was just so adorable.
Did you just want to pinch his little cheeks?
I did.
Pinch his cheeky leakies and rub his beard.
I'm definitely going to tag Kaiser for this episode.
Please do. I hope he talks to me.
It really was. I was surprised, and I shouldn't say surprised because again, I don't. Outside of Schmoedown, most of these people, I don't know how they are, but so surprised isn't the. I was delighted. Katee Sackhoff has got me on the kick of using the word delightful, and damn it, Kaiser was also delightful.
Yes, he was adorable.
I would love to talk baseball with him. Just absolutely love to.
Yeah,
that would be
so
awesome to hear his some of his stories about traveling around with his dad and shit, man. That would be so great. I mean, because
you got to come on the show and talk baseball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, the Reds are my fucking team, dude. Because I'm from Ohio. I'm from outside of Dayton, so Cincinnati, dude. Cincinnati Redlegs, my motherfucking team, dude. And it's so awesome, dude. When he mentioned Ken Griffey Jr., dude, I'm like, holy shit, because Ken Griffey Sr. was a part of the Big Red Machine when they won, I think it was 3 years straight, they won the pennant in the 80s for the Reds. Then Ken Griffey Jr. famously played for the Mariners, but he did come back to Cincy, and he played for us for at least 3 years or so. And so that, and I just, I was so blown away. I saw Griffey Jr. play at Synergy Field down in Cincy, like his third or fourth game with us, dude. And I've got a Griffey Jr. jersey and all that. So like when he started talking about the baseball and traveling around with his dad, and then he dropped Griffey Jr., I was like, dude, I want to talk to him about baseball, man. That would be so fun.
All right.
You totally lost me somewhere in there. And
it's all baseball stuff.
Yeah, I started looking at all of Darren's like collectible cards that are sitting here. Because, yeah, I got distracted.
Does he have a Ken Griffey Jr. there?
He doesn't really do baseball. He has tons and tons of football cards, and then this random stack was just some Star Wars collectible cards that he had ordered for us to open. So I was just looking at them.
Because I was boring you with baseball talk.
Yeah. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch baseball.
That's when that would have been the ideal time to mute me, as opposed to when I dropped that really awesome Game of Thrones Daenerys reference at the beginning of the show.
I can't wait to listen back to this episode and hear that, because
it was so good, dude. It was so solid.
I did think I found a button where I can actually like mute you completely.
Oh, please don't. As long as you stay out of the gutter, we'll be fine.
Welcome to the Kalyn Show here on SEN.
But getting into some more silliness and just moments from the week. Lots of some Thanksgiving talk. Obviously, the reason why SEN Live only did half a week is because Thanksgiving tomorrow. Again, here in the States. Sorry, you Canada folks got screwed. British folks and Aussies, you got screwed. But we got a holiday here, and what is you guys' favorite Thanksgiving food?
I think for me, it's actually as a leftover, and it's making cold turkey sandwiches with the leftover turkey. Yeah. Just slap a little mashed potato and some stuffing right into that sandwich. Good to go.
Well, I don't know about that, but the turkey is good.
It's so good.
But
if you're just going turkey, slap a little Miracle Whip on that bad boy. Done.
What?
Yeah. Got that little bit of tang to it.
Oh.
Miracle Whip. Whip cream.
Whip.
I'm a little
whip it into shape.
Oh God.
Quill Wheaton.
Whip it good.
Wheaton.
Wheaton.
Yeah, that's the best. Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
No, Will does not have the H in it.
I know, but he still says it.
He still says it that way. It's funny.
Who? Who's he?
It's from Family Guy.
From Family Guy.
I knew about the Wheat Thins, but I didn't know about Will Wheaton.
Yeah, well, it all started with the Cool Whip, but he always pronounced it Whip. Cool Whip, Brian.
Whip.
It's Cool Whip, Brian. Oh, man. That reminds me, next dog I get, if it happens to be a male, I'm going to name it Not Brian. And the reason for that, when people go, what's your dog's name? And I'll be like, Not Brian. And they'll be like, okay, so what's its name? And I'll be like, we'll have a who's on first thing going.
Oh my God.
I'll be like, Not Brian. Like, his name is Not Brian is his name. And I'd call him Not Bry for short. But the reason for it would be, people would be like, well, why is your dog named that? And I'll be like, because you know Brian from Family Guy? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, my dog don't talk, he don't walk, and he don't drink or write. He is not Brian.
Walk.
Okay, he doesn't
not
walk
on 2 feet
You're
like a
getting
human.
all technical now, Kalyn.
I know. You're getting too technical here.
I apologize. My favorite Thanksgiving food is a very non-traditional Thanksgiving food, which is something my mother-in-law makes, which is like sweet potatoes and onions and bell peppers, all cut up in a dish with seasonings like cayenne pepper, salt, some oil and you bake it, and then you put some spicy sausage over it and broil it, and everything gets all spicy and yummy and good, and it's so good. And then my mom has started making it, and so I'm going to eat some of that tomorrow.
And do you add the mulligan to it?
The sweet potatoes.
Sweet potato mulligan.
That was good.
I guess we could call it the sweet potatoes mulligan since we don't have a name for it.
See, there you go.
So they keep talking about tuna mac.
Yeah.
I hate mac and cheese.
Oh,
Oh,
I think
yeah, I don't
this
understand
last
that.
And I don't like tuna unless I make tuna salad myself. Like, I will not, and I even then have to really want it. I don't really like it very often. So they just keep talking about tuna mac, and it just makes me want to throw up.
You see, as a poor kid, tuna mac is a staple.
Oh.
If you can get a can of tuna super cheap, you can get a box of mac super cheap. Boom.
Dude, I'll just say it. Well, first of all, my favorite Thanksgiving food is the turkey. I don't give a shit about anything else. I just want the fucking meat. And then, but as far as the tuna and mac and cheese, I'll just, dude, I love mac and cheese, but nothing is good in mac and cheese. Tuna, beef, nothing, dude. Just straight mac and cheese is the only way to go.
I put all kinds of stuff in my mac and cheese. Chicken.
Do you crunch up? Do you grind up Doritos and mix them in?
I have not done that, but hey, I wouldn't be opposed to trying it.
You know what's really good? A ham and Cheez-It sandwich.
Ham and Cheez-It?
Yeah, you put Cheez-Its on and ham on 2 slices of bread, and that's
Take
it.
the Cheez-Its off and put some Doritos on that bad boy, then sure.
Cheez-Its are more cheesy.
See, I used to do bologna in Doritos because we were poor, so bologna was the meat that you buy. You can't spend $6 a pound on ham, but you can spend $2 a pound on some bologna.
I've never eaten bologna in my life.
Oh, ate it all the time when I was a kid. I loved it, and then the older I got, the more disgusted I was with it.
There's only one brand that I will. There's only one brand that I will eat now, and that's the Wunderbar. I won't get any of the rest of them, they just don't taste right.
Yeah. I don't even. Okay.
So she won't eat tuna. She won't eat mac and cheese. She won't eat bologna. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I won't eat a lot of things. I'm very picky about food.
Oh, me too. Me too. Very picky. But I'll eat chicken every fucking day of my life. I would prefer that it would be prepared differently each day to change it up, but I could eat chicken every fucking day of my life. I mean, just chicken.
Do you ever fix that chicken in a cast iron skillet?
No, I don't. When I do my chicken,
cast iron skillet.
Yes, I do. Damn it, I actually do. But when I do my chicken, I either do a barbecue chicken in the crock pot, or I do Italian marinated chicken and I just bake it in the oven. But I'm not really big on cooking. I'm too scared to fuck shit up, to be honest. Like hamburger, I have never once in my life successfully fried a hamburger.
Just get a Foreman grill. I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've heard.
Change your life.
That's what I've heard.
They're so easy.
But I do have a friend. She's a Southern type, and she cooks in a cast iron grill, or a cast iron skillet. And she does, like fries the fucking chicken and shit in it and all kinds of shit, dude. Yeah.
Well, I use mine to make cornbread, and so the key to a good cornbread is you have to use a cast iron skillet, and what you have to do is you have to put the oil in the skillet and put the skillet in the oven while the oven's preheating, while you mix everything together so the oil heats up, and then you pour the hot oil in your batter, mix it all up, pour it back in the skillet, and it's already cooking before it even gets in the oven, and it gets super crispy. It is
interesting.
Yeah. Nice.
Some people even start a cornbread like on stovetop. Like they start it there and then put it in the oven to get it crispy. Speaking of cornbread, so do y'all where you live eat stuffing or dressing?
See,
Neither.
So here's the thing. I call it stuffing. I understand the difference.
Personally.
Stuffing is technically when it's in the bird. Dressing is when it's not.
No.
But that's what Food Network tells me, so that's what I go with. And
Stuffing
I
is
call it stuffing no matter
breadcrumb.
what.
Well, stuffing. Well, I don't mean stuffed in the bird. I mean, is it breadcrumb based or is it cornbread based?
Oh, that I don't know. I just buy box. I don't make it.
If
So I mean,
you-
I know you can buy like they have Stouffer's and it says cornbread stuffing. I think I usually just get like the herb one or whatever. So it's probably the breadcrumb based. So
Yeah, with the marijuana all up in it and shit, man. Because God knows you need a fucking buzz on Thanksgiving with family. Damn, dude.
Oh my goodness. Well, down here, nobody makes stuffing. People make dressing. So it's the same concept, but it's cornbread based. You make a cornbread and then you take the cornbread and add, mush it up and add all the stuff to it.
So
and
down
bake
south
it.
is dressing mean that it's cornbread based?
Yeah, that's what it
Okay.
means.
Interesting.
And you don't put it in the bird. It's like it's a dish all its own. And also everybody like deep fries their turkey, so you can't stuff it with anything anyway.
Don't set your freaking garage on fire.
Oh, I know. There's
Okay.
some great videos of that.
Okay, that doesn't happen down here because people know how to fry shit outside. And people, because we
Oh my
also
God.
like boil crawfish and crabs and shrimp and everything all during that season, and that's all done outside because it stinks to high heaven if you do it inside. And
So you're used to cooking stuff like that outside.
yeah, I don't personally, but I also, can't operate a grill, so.
I'm gonna have to go down there and visit you guys sometime and have some of this kick-ass food you're talking about.
My mom's boyfriend even has an entire little separate thing from his house that's like one of those old-fashioned like outdoor stoves, but like ovens. It's like a grill, but it's like a totally built-in, bricked-in thing, and they cook and cook and cook and have people over. And oh my God, just the food that they can cook out there because it's massive. It's
I'm fucking hungry now.
I know. Well,
Shit.
that's perfect because tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
It's true.
Yeah, and I don't do anything for Thanksgiving, so I won't get any good food.
Well, that sucks.
I'm not big on holiday. I have severe anxiety, and I have a hard time getting out of my house very much, to be honest, and I don't like being around a lot of people. Even my family, I don't like doing family functions and stuff. And when I do go, I don't stay for long. It's just enough to say hi to everybody, and I've been absent from family functions for the most part for about the last probably 15 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
family
I know
can
that
mess
goes.
you up more than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know where to press your buttons.
Yep.
Yep.
And boy, that Schmoebot knows how to push Ellis's fucking buttons, don't he? That was so funny.
So today being Wednesday, the Schmoebot was pretty behaved. But
Yeah, surprisingly.
for the most part, I've been very over the Schmoebot this week. Like, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the schlongs. I'm sick of the just stupidity.
I'm kind of hoping that this kind of long, like little break here for the holiday will maybe kind of push away some of the schlong talk out of people's minds and get some different stuff from the Schmoebot.
Yes, it's getting real old real fast.
Yeah.
And
it was like when people would do the like I like all the time the first like week or so, and then that died off, and now it's this, and so hopefully this will help make that die off.
Yeah. Now there was
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There was the person who gave them $1,000.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Jesus.
I mean, he
You
can
want
say
to give
whatever
you want
he
to give
wants.
$1,000? You can say schlong all day long. I don't
Yeah,
care.
you can say
that was
whatever
that
you
Anthony
want.
Nugent from Australia.
Was it, or was it the Y person?
Well, I know that Anthony did yesterday, I believe. Dropped it either yesterday or Monday. He dropped 1,000 on there, and I was just like, holy shit.
Damn.
Yeah. They're getting some income.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's great that the fans can support like that, man. I mean, I wish I could, but it's great that people can and that they do. It's amazing, dude. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It is. And then me and Darren sat here today and went back and forth.
All three of you got on the show today.
Yeah. Well. Speaking of, I wanted to say this about the Schmoebot and the schlong and shit. It is getting way overused. It's past overused. It is getting a little old. It's funny from time to time if worded right and done in a good way, but overall, it's a little overused. And Christian, I would really appreciate it if maybe we could cut back on the schlong stuff. Anything we can do here at SEN After Live to not give Kalyn ammo to start bringing up all this dirty sex gutter talk.
Excuse you.
It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel I almost called her out on Twitter with the hashtag #MeToo
stuff, dude.
So it would be nice if that would clear up a little bit, and then maybe we could get back on track.
I'm going to mute you. I am going to mute you. Did it mute him? Is he muted?
I think you muted him.
I muted him. He's muted, and he probably doesn't know how to unmute because he probably doesn't know how to mute. Ha 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 ha. He's muted. No.
Game, set, match.
I will unmute him after I make my point, which is he is the one who goes way too deep and dirty. Way too much. I mean, last episode, I was trying to have a clean, clear, nice, wonderful episode, but no. He had to talk about dick bibs.
It's true.
The episode before, we know way too much about his sexual preferences, so I like to make a joke from here to there, but he has to just go way too far with it. So I will unmute him now. Let's see if I can figure out how. Can you talk now, J Wade?
Kalyn, where can the folks find you at? Well, who cares? Josh, where can the folks find you? Hey man, you say what you will. I mean, and I can't say anything because you know how to mute me, and I have no fucking clue how to mute you. So you have the upper hand here. Touche.
Well, since I pissed off the host of J Wade, I guess this is my last episode, so I guess I need to say my goodbyes. It's been nice knowing all of you. I'm especially.
Do you realize you just muted yourself?
I didn't mute myself.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Hey, guess what? I figured it out too.
Josh muted you.
Joshua.
Man, okay. This is a fun thing here. Hopefully Sean and Mike do not listen to this episode and Sarah does, and then she can figure out how to mute them and fuck with them. That would be great.
That would be great.
Oh, so what did y'all miss me saying?
It was like host of, and then it cut out, and then J Wade, and then that was, I don't know what you said in between there.
Oh, it was literally 2 seconds.
What I said was, since I've pissed you off, I guess this is my last show.
No, you haven't pissed me off. You are far too fun and far too delightful. Delightful is the word of the week. You're far too delightful, Kalyn. Yes, absolutely.
My word of the week has been lovely.
Well, when I was watching your multiplex match, I mean, obviously I've seen a picture of you, but I've never actually seen you like on video or anything. And
yeah, same for me.
Yeah, your facial expressions were fucking amazing.
Yes, they were.
And there was this one, I can't remember what the question was, but they asked you a question, and you were like, your mouth was kind of open, and you were looking around to the sides with this look on your face like, what the fuck is this? And so now, when I saw that, and now when you talk at certain moments, I can envision what your facial expressions are while we're recording this show now, and I love it.
Yeah, I have no poker face. None whatsoever.
Some rough Disney questions.
Yes. Oh my god, what the fuck is Melody Time?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of those questions, and I like to think that Disney is a decent strength of mine. Nah. I didn't get a single one of those goddamn questions.
I was sitting there, I'm like, Disney, man, Kalyn's gonna fucking wipe up, dude.
Yeah.
And the only one I knew was Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah, because I picked the wrong song during that. I was like, fuck.
I mean, Circle of Life is the only song I've listened to, so that's the one I was voting for. It was the only one I knew.
And I would like to thank my ex-boyfriend for taking me to see Iron Man in 2008. That's why I knew that Iron Man was released in 2008.
Yep.
Because that's when
he was good for something.
Given all the really crappy movies he made me watch, that was the only one that I walked out of the theater and was like, that was actually good. So it stuck with me all these years. And
nice.
So I was like, when that question came up, I'm like, I know what year this was. It could have only been 1 year. So I was happy for that question. But yeah, that was so much fun. But yes, I have no poker face. Like someone like Ben Bateman or Andrew Guy would just destroy me because they would be able to read everything on my face.
Man, speaking of reading, who's going to read Ben the Riot Act for being a fucking bagel thief, dude?
Dude, I've been going back and forth with him on Twitter.
Oh, man. Did you ask him if he went back and paid for it like he said he was going to?
Oh, he put out a tweet of like him at the play, the big coffee shop or whatever, with like a copy of his receipt. And so he went and paid for it or whatever. And I'm like, how do we know that is your receipt? We don't know. I said, I'm not buying that. Just like you didn't buy that bagel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I like him.
Yeah, I really like. I've never heard of him until SEN Live, and I really enjoy him, man. He
does a podcast with one of the other like reviewers that I talk to back and forth. Her name's Ashley. She's the Movie Oracle on Twitter. They do a podcast together. So that's how I first kind of like learned about him. So.
Well, he's just such a natural, and he's funny, but like he doesn't need any help figuring this out. He's got it down pat.
Yeah.
I will say though, I could tell just a difference in the energy when Kate is not there.
Yeah.
She is so much of the comedy.
Oh my god, yeah. Today's show.
Oh my gosh.
It was the funniest show.
It was.
I mean, granted, it's only been on for 4 weeks now?
Yes.
My favorite crew, hands down.
Yeah.
She said my least favorite word several times today, but I'll forgive her for that. Everyone has a flaw. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
IA. Or IP and AP.
IA? What's IA?
I was going to ask, what's your favorite P?
The International Ass, baby. IA.
Oh my god.
They were cracking me up.
Oh my god. I was just dying laughing today. It was so funny. And I love that.
Nonstop.
I love that Darren had to tell them that I have the best husband ever. His name is Pookie. And then he said, I want Kate to know that she is the bee's knees. And at that moment, she said, yep, that's spooky, because that's what he made me tell her when we interviewed her, was make sure she knows she's the bee's knees.
Oh, yeah. And I love that saying, too. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, dude, I love that saying.
I'll be totally
bee's
honest.
knees are great.
I was like, is this really just Kalyn typing
No.
this message out?
No, and I told him, I'm like, we're sitting here both spending our money on this.
Hey, why not, right?
Instead of
All it
talking
takes
like
is
to
$1.
each other. Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
I usually just go the dollar route because I don't know how many of them I'm going to send in. So,
Right.
I let it pile up. But today I did $3. So
Ooh,
I went
I had
$5.
$3 in my checking account. Okay, our plug that I did for Katee Sackhoff interview, I put in $2 because I didn't want to be a cheap asshole, and then Kalyn had to go and call me out and try to blame me for things that go on here. So then I was like, well, there goes my $3. Now I have 1 cent in my bank account now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That was fun, though, Kalyn, having that little back and forth with you through them on the show. That was fun.
That was fun. But Christian totally agreed with me and said, I am an angel and you are the devil.
He did not say that. He didn't actually necessarily agree with you. No, hold on. There are two different things going on here. There's whether or not I think what he was agreeing to or saying is that perhaps I maybe went a little too far. Okay?
You think?
Okay, and I won't deny that. Okay, I won't deny that. You got me. But what we've been talking about isn't how far I've gone, it's who's brought it up. That is you. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I have gone too far, but I have gone too far after you have opened the door.
I don't know if that's always the case.
Maybe not always, but
I certainly don't help. But
but that's what makes this show awesome.
I don't think they have these sorts of things going on in the Collider Afterlife crew.
No, I'm sure they don't.
I can tell you that for a fact, as I am the one who edits that show. They do not.
They're more straight-laced.
They're more respectable than us.
I mean, if you think about it, like the way that they do the show over there, it's really set up more like Collider Live. It's a bit more structured and stuff like that. Yeah. Sarah gets them out on a pretty strict, boom, hour and a half. They haven't gone over that time since she took over. And
I'm going to have to ask her how she does that.
Is a hell of a lot more like SEN Live, going over time, getting crazy, and that's what I love about the two shows.
Yeah. And I absolutely love doing this show with you, Kalyn. Absolutely love it. And I love, Josh, that you've been able to be on with us as much as you have so far. It's a hell of a fucking time.
Yeah.
And nothing I ever say here, I'm not trying to cross a line. I'm not trying to maybe not offend anyone, but that offense isn't the right word, but put anyone off. That's never my aim or my goal. So I just want to put that out there right now. And so, yeah. And I also like that, Kalyn, that you keep me in check too. I need that.
Well,
or
I
you
think
try
we did
at
an
least.
excellent job today of being respectable human beings, except for muting each other.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
I don't know. We should probably talk more about the actual SEN Live that we're supposed to be recapping.
See, this is one of the things I like about you. Just, okay, yeah, screw you. Let's get back on track here now.
I'm being Christian.
It's great.
I'm bored. Let's move on. So Kaiser, who is so adorable.
So cute.
Oh, he's so adorable. Christian and him got talking about fights, getting into fights. And so I was wondering, have either of you ever gotten into an actual fight?
2 in my life, if you don't count me slapping my brother in the face.
Oh, that nut doesn't count.
The first one was in, I think it was 6th grade. Going into gym class, kid like shoved me into a locker. And then so after gym, I was like, this ain't gonna stand, and we just beat the shit out of each other in the middle of the locker room.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was a good time. We both got suspended for like 3 days. And like I said, this is 6th grade, so I mean we're like 12, 13, something like that. Yeah.
11.
Maybe. I don't know. It's very possible. But yeah, and then another time I hung out with a little bit of a rougher crew back then, and we got into this kind of scrape where we jumped a couple kids, and it was just a big brawl. And after that, I was like, I ain't doing this shit. I'm out of there. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't. Well, okay. I've been in one fight where like I was actually fighting back and not just like I got hit or something and I didn't hit back. You know what I mean? Because I've been hit a few times and I didn't do nothing back. One of them I started laughing and I said, "You hit like a bitch." And then he hit me again about 2 weeks later at a party, and I felt that fucking one. But he's
probably like working out, bench pressing.
He's a big. I don't know, dude. I tell you what. You talk about. I hung with rough crowds too. Now this dude that hit me before he hit me, and I told him he hit like a bitch. Okay, before this, I was at a party and saw this dude hit a motherfucker over the head with a brick.
Oh, Jesus.
And I stood there and told this dude he hits like a bitch, And then, like I said, 2 weeks later at a party, he showed me how hard a bitch hits, and it hurt, dude. I was like, fuck, dude. But I've been in one fight where I actually swung back. But the dude, I fucked that up. I took my eyes off of him, and he fucking sucker punched me in the nose, had blood in my eyes. So all of my swings were just wild swings, I couldn't see shit. So that's the only that's the only actual me fighting back fight I've ever been in. I've just never, if people hit me, if it don't hurt or anything, then I really don't give a shit, to be honest. It just like getting hit doesn't make me mad enough to swing back at somebody. In this fight where I actually called this, when I got my ass kicked by this dude, I actually called him out in the fight. That stupid fucking standing up for a chick. He was fucking groping on a chick that we were friends with at the pool, and I fucking called him out to fight him over it, and fucking, got the shit kicked out of me. Hey. That's how it goes.
Well, at least it's for a good cause.
Yep. Except the girl was one of my buddy's sisters, and he was at the fight, and he did not give a shit that this dude was groping up on his sister. I was the one that fucking fought over it, He was at the fight. He was with me when I called him out. He was with me when we went back and met him. He was with me through the whole fucking thing. He took me back to his house, cleaned up my face, wiped the blood out of my eyes, and never said a fucking word that I'd fought over his sister, standing up for his sister.
Jeez.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't care, but, whatever. Although he did say one thing about that. Well, not about that, but maybe a week later, after I was, healed up a little bit, it was just me and him, and he looks at me serious as shit, dude. And he had a little bit of punch in his voice, and he goes, "Hey, don't try to fuck my sister." And that was all he said, and I was like, dude, I mean, I wasn't trying to at all. It was just, that was my buddy's little sister, and I was like, somebody's got to fucking stand up for her. But that was the only thing he ever said about all of that. Was about a week later, he told me not to try to get with his sister. Kalyn, how many chicks' asses have you kicked?
So, men are different than women, apparently. That's what I'm learning here. I've never gotten in a real fight. When I was in 7th grade, me and this girl didn't really get along, didn't really like each other, and at the end of gym class got into like a slap fight, basically. But both went home, told our parents ended up calling each other, the whole 9 yards. And then she and I the next day became like best friends. And we've been friends ever since.
Wow.
I don't know why. That's just how girls
Slapped
roll.
yourself into a friendship. I like it.
We did. It was pretty funny. That's the closest I've ever come to getting into a fight. But what girls do is, instead of, asserting some sort of physical strength over one another, we just talk shit about each other. So
yeah. I've seen a lot of that with chicks for sure.
I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you are.
Excuse you.
No, I'm being serious. I can imagine you being good at talking shit to chicks. I'm for real. Like, I bet you are, man.
Yeah,
I didn't mean that. Dude, simmer down, man. Don't kick my ass.
Simmer down now.
Well, I'm all riled up.
Riled up.
I am riled up.
When you said about becoming friends, when I first moved up here from Texas, it was in like 4th grade or some shit. I wasn't very well liked, but a dude ended up busting my fucking lip open like 2 days before school pictures, man. And we ended up becoming friends later on after that in high school and shit, and hung out a lot. But I remembered when I was in high school, I had asked him, I was like, dude, remember when when you busted my lip open by the buses? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, why did you do that? I'm like, I mean, I know that we didn't like each other and we were arguing, but I'm like, why did you fucking hit me? And he just goes, you stepped on my toes. And I remember my first thing I said, I thought of it literally. I was like, dude, I never fucking touched you. For weeks, I had that in my mind until it hit me. No, I was being a mouthy fucking bitch to him. I was stepping on his toes and he fucking popped me. And I was like, okay, I get it now. I was stepping on his toes. Yeah, that was not a good picture here.
Oh my God.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and wrap it up right there, guys. It had a hell of a show this week, and hell of an episode for us. Hell of a lot of fun too. Fuck, man, I don't know. I kind of don't want to stop talking, but other than making things up, there's nothing really to talk about that had anything to do with SEN Live.
Yeah.
But hey, we got a great weekend coming up with the holidays and everything, so it'll be nice for everybody to get going on that. So yeah, let's just wrap this up right now. And Kalyn, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
They can find me on Twitter at KalynRose715. That's KALYNROSE 715.
All right, and Josh the Merc Raynor, where can they find you at, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. Also, check out my other site, DC Comics News. That's at DC Comics News on all the social media platforms. I run that site over there. So if you're a big DC fan, definitely check us out.
Yes. And you can find me on the Twitter at J Wade 1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134. You can also follow Merc with the Movie Blog on Twitter at MovieBlogMerc. Check out the website, mercwithamovieblog.com. And you can find this show as well as a few others. Some good shit we're doing here, having a lot of fun. You can find those on your Merc with the Movie Blog feed on all your podcasting platforms, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify. Anchor is a place that I would recommend you go. And also, we've just started putting all these shows up on our YouTube channel as well, Merc with a Movie Blog on YouTube. Go there and check them out, too, if that's your jam. Thank you guys so much for, and this is to you and Kalyn, thank you guys so much for this night. I've had a blast with you guys. So thanks for the fun this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
awesome.
love coming on and talking to you guys. It's great.
Yeah, really enjoy it. And to all you listeners, have a great, safe holiday weekend. And we will see you here next week. But be safe out there, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Catch you later.